SHiFT YRC Podcast, a podcast developed by young and early career researchers on the shift cost action. For more information about SHiFT, take a look at the details in the channel description. I'm Silvia, and I'm here with Carlos. In each episode, we sit down with a special guest from our SHiFT community to uncover the journey, challenges, and insights that are shaping the world of research. Today, we're thrilled to welcome Aslıhan from Roots Shoots, and it's such a pleasure to have you here, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you very much, Aslıhan, for accepting our invitation. Well, let's start at the beginning of your journey. Can you tell us a bit about your academic background and career journey so far, and maybe the moment on or the experience that spark your interest in your specialization, please?
Sure. Let me start with my academic journey because it's quite a mixed one. I'm coming from a very interdisciplinary background. Initially, I studied drums. I graduated from Berklee College of Music, and I was a jazz drummer. And that has been my passion in my entire life. I was always passionate about nature, animals, and music, but I never thought until some point I could have mixed those. So I just studied drums, and during I was studying at Berklee College, I keep asking myself, why do I play drums? Why do we do music? What is the reason behind this, and what is the function of music? So after I graduated, I came back to Turkey and I studied cultural studies for my master's degree, and which was an amazing journey to ask some questions and just ask even more questions because it was so hard to find answers to the questions I was looking for. And then I continued my academic journey with another master's degree on psychology, particularly on psychoanalytic studies. And currently I am doing my PhD on anthropology, where I am actually came to the point where I maybe collaborated all my passion and all my questions and all my academic background. And now I am investigating the music's effect on chimpanzee and children's social behavior. So my academic journey has been a very mixed and interdisciplinary one, but as a person and person and also on post-academic, maybe I might say, I believe the power of interdisciplinary research and how we can learn from each other. So that has been my academic journey, and I am hoping to finish my PhD this year. So it's been a very amazing and exciting one, indeed.
A long, nice journey that you've had so far. Really interesting one as well, really peculiar. And what do you consider to be some of the biggest challenges in nature, Anthropocene, human-nature relationship that young researchers should address?
This is a really hard one, I would say, because I think academic, and when you continue your work on academy, I think that also has a very personal question you want to address. Like you are there to, I don't want to say fight, but chase something. So that is really important. Like the first question is like, why am I here? What is my passion and what I'm aiming to find? And currently we're living in a world of what would you say, like crisis? Like there is not only one crisis, there is nature crisis, climate crisis, biodiversity crisis, economic crisis, pandemic. So these are all linked to each other. So I think it is really important, not only people who are interested in nature conservation or biology, but for all of us as an academics and as a responsible human beings to address how can I be part of this crisis all along, like what is my responsibility, or what responsibility should I take, because these are linked to each other. These are not separate from each other. So whether you're a lawyer, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a literature student, these are all linked to each other. And these crises are, there is hope. I do believe there is hope. But in the world of Anthropocene, I think it is really important for us to start working together. So I cannot recommend anything on behalf of anyone, but I would say that it is really important to see what's happening around us and how can we contribute regardless what our background is and our age is or our title is. So I think it is really important for younger generation to see this. And to be honest, I think they see better than all of us. They are very active on the fields. They are not only pursuing their academic career on this, but they're taking a lot of different initiatives. So maybe we can see that how can we learn from them, or what would they recommend to us to do, because it is really important to learn and get inspired from them. To be honest, in this world of crisis, they are the ones that I look into and get inspired, and I think they're doing an amazing job. But this is a very hard question for me to answer.
Yes, I like very much this idea of try to align our passion with our capacity to fix problems, to fix every generation of problems, every society of problems, very specific problems. Yes, indeed, and I like this idea of yes, we have passions and we can align these both goals, these both aims, in try to produce something good, something better, some solutions. Yeah, yeah. It's very stick on my mind without any doubt. So, and what about your own experience? What challenges did you face during your career path in academy and research? Is there a recent project or find that you have especially proud of, enthusiastic about it? It seems two very different questions. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like let me start with the first one, and maybe you can ask the other one again.
Okay.
The first one is the challenges, right? I think so. If we consider my background on drums, I mean, of course, there has been some challenges. I mean, firstly, I'm a woman, and a woman from Turkey who wanted to study drums. So can you like imagine this culturally, like a woman studying drums and asking people, my mom, and you're supporting and sending her to USA to do this? Is that even a real career? So like there has been a lot of hard times for me, to be honest, and people were questioning what I'm doing, and that also affected me questioning myself. Is that a real career? Is that a real path? And you can imagine like you're in a room full of men, and it's like military, and you're the only girl, and sometimes they bully you, sometimes they support you. So I started my academic career on a very different level. But also, there are a lot of amazing women during that period who supported me, who believe in me. And so I think gender equality has been always challenging wherever you are, what part of world you are, or whatever you're planning to do. And also, there's a lot of solidarity behind this. Women supporting women. So that has been the first challenge. And the secondly, again, I've been studying chimpanzees, and I've been traveling to Africa alone. And like, again, another part of gender equality. You're a woman, you're going to Africa and this and that. How are you going to do it? So this, I mean, like you probably know Jane Goodall, she traveled to Africa in 1960s, and the first question they asked to her, you're only a white woman, you're only a white girl, how are you going to go to Africa? And after 65 years later, we still get the same question. So I think this is the main challenge, and I may speak on behalf of every woman that like people, when you're a woman, people tend to not believe you to your academic career or your passion way. But then we have the strength, we have the hope, and we have the power to show the opposite. And the second challenge I had is that the area that I wanted to study. So I'm based in Turkey, and there is an amazing scholars in Turkey. There is an amazing universities in Turkey. Unfortunately, the particular area that I'm interested is very, very new to Turkey, new for Turkey. So that's really hard. So I have been trying to do all along my PhD research to struggle alone, because I have to find different supervisors. I have to make sure that I have right access to knowledge. So this has been challenging. I'm like combining primatology and anthropology, and I think it is really exciting also to start an new field in Turkey, particularly on primatology, but not having able to reach out or access to scholars and have very limited knowledge in Turkey. That has been also a challenge. And one other challenge I could say is that fundings. So they're very limited of fundings when you're a researcher, and there has to be in a particular area, you would probably know. So it is hard for people to prioritize what you're doing, and you have to find your way of funding. So when you combine this gender equality, like limitation, access to knowledge, and funding, there are times that like you're like, why am I doing this? Should I just like step back? And it's a journey. It's a challenging journey, but also I think I can say that like with the support of scholars I have, with the friends and different institutions, there are challenges, but there are also solutions. It takes some time. It is indeed frustrating, but I think, yeah, I feel like I've been supported regardless of what happened, and I hope everyone will feel the same way. And I have been lucky, and I'm just wishing everyone feel as lucky as I am.
Yes, thank you. You need to find your passion, and after all the adversity, continue to move on. So my second question is, yeah, it's related. Is there a recent project or finding that you are especially proud of, enthusiastic about, as a little bit as you told us? Also give some information about it.
Sure. There is a new research we had just conducted, which is very exciting for us, me and my colleague Berkay Aslan. And so, as I told you before, my PhD thesis and my research, I'm focusing on the music and particular rhythms' impact on social behavior of chimpanzees and children. So maybe I can go back to the first question you asked. Has been my passion. Has been the question of mine, but also one of the aims of this research is we want to have a better understanding of chimpanzees, and we want to have a better understanding of humans, as well as we want to see if we can use this as a well-being method for chimpanzees in captivity and zoos. So that's why we're running this research with my colleague Berkay. And in December, I was in Africa. We conducted the last part of our research where we played rhythmic music, no music, and music with no particular rhythm to chimpanzees. And we observed them, and we collected data in order to see that. And what was very exciting for us is that in the preliminary data analysis we made, we saw that chimpanzees are more social, and their proximity increases when there's rhythmic music. So this has been very exciting for us. Of course, it requires a lot of analysis more. We're on our way to do so. But then just imagine that chimpanzees prefer, or they're more social when there's rhythmic music. You can imagine this as like you walk into a room and there's no music. And then imagine yourself like you walk into a room and there is like nice rhythmic beat, chill music. How would you feel? Like, which one would you feel more comfortable? Like you can just start coming from that background. So this shows us that hopefully at the end of the research, we might be able to say that chimpanzees are, they're more social, their social proximity decreases, and they groom each other more when there's rhythmic music. And this is exciting, not only because this is our passion and we're like curious about it, but it is really important for us to see now, can we use this method as a well-being? I have talked about the environmental crisis and all the crises we are going through in the world, and there's a huge crisis about biodiversity, and this does not only include all the biodiversity, it also includes illegal wildlife trade and all other aspects. So there's a lot of chimpanzees in captive zoos and sanctuaries. So this is what we are aiming to use to improve their well-being. So this is really, really exciting, and we can't wait to see all the results and how it goes forward.
That's really interesting. Thank you. I actually don't know much about this topic, so it's really a new thing to listen to. And it's really, really interesting, really. And also, I wanted to thank you for bringing out the topic of women supporting women in research. It's something that still today is unfortunately really needed, because there's still a lot of prejudice on behalf of women in the field of research in general. So that's really important to mention. And we would like now to focus on your experience at Roots and Shoots. So you mentioned your challenge is to find scholars, connections, and networks for your research. So getting into an interdisciplinary environment like Roots and Shoots, I'm sure it enhanced your research capabilities in some way. Could you tell us more about that?
I think they're very separate from each other, but somehow they're connected again. So Roots and Shoots is a global movement founded by Jane Goodall in 1991. And it is where we try to support and create spaces for young people and children who are particularly interested in running projects on environment and animals and people. So when you think about it, it's like people would think that there are two separate careers that I have, like one that I have academic research that I'm doing with chimpanzees, and the second that I'm working on an NGO with children and youth. But how are they connected to each other, or how do I see the connection is that, like, regardless of your age, we are all trying to do something for the, maybe I would say, greater good, like bigger than us. So, and at Roots and Shoots, we see everything is interconnected. So like you cannot separate nature from people, people from animals. So everything is connected to each other, and people and who we work with, children, they start coming with this ethos and they grow up with this ethos from day one. And I don't think we were that lucky. And when you are in a particular area working in an academic, like some people want you to be just focused on one thing, and like you are not allowed to think outside the box. But with Roots and Shoots, I have been thinking outside the box and trying to find other ways and learn from children, learn from youth, learn from environment, all these projects that we have been doing. So I can go back and like, you know, like you're running this very scientific research and everything's like it's 2 + 2 = 4, but then on the other end, like you work with children and youth, and they see and they come from a very, very different like background, and like 2 + 2 is not 4. Like there's all other ways to think about it. And I think that is really important for me to say it and learn from it. And one other thing that I work with chimpanzees, it's not like I'm working with them and just collecting data. I'm learning from chimpanzees. What strategies can I learn? How can I, like, they're very social animals. They fight for a second and then the next minute they just in a peaceful area. Like, how can I adapt this as like human community? So like there's so many aspects in my life. I think I'm like getting this inspiration, like chimpanzees, Roots and Shoots communities, not only Roots and Shoots Turkey, from global, like the children from in Tanzania, children in Malaysia, children in Latin America. You have all these questions, all these amazing projects, and then on one hand you work with chimpanzees and like their source of inspiration. And then you have your academic like research, and you always go back and you challenge yourself, because like when you work with children and they challenge you, and then you are becoming, I think, more brave to challenge your thesis. You are becoming more courageous to ask broader questions. So I would say these are the connections I see, and it is like both sides are supporting each other in my career.
Yeah, thank you. So, in relation also in Roots and Shoots, where you're working or you have your projects now, are there any particular initiatives or aspects of the Roots and Shoots that you have found especially beneficial and directly impact your research, I'm sorry, or your career development?
I have been involved in Roots and Shoots for over 7-8 years now, and I think the main thing that inspired me or hit me is that it was founded in 1991, not only by Jane Goodall, but with young people. I would consider myself young one, even UN doesn't consider me young anymore. But I think the reason that Jane Goodall and the whole institution believe the power of young people, believe the power of women, believe the power of communities. This is what has hit me, to be honest. And that's like in the previous question, that's what I wanted to kind of say it. These are not only aligning with my core values, but I think these are also the answers to how should academy be today? How should how should politicians be today? How should economy be today? So like when I have the Roots and Shoots mission, the vision, the ethos, it's actually aligning with everything, because like everything is connected and we all can make a difference. So when you have this, when you own this, this is what we need in the academy. Like not one research is more important than the other one. Or like if you're a male and in a male dominant world, your work doesn't mean that it's better than mine. So there's a lot of other ways, or I can be a drummer, but I can still do my PhD on anthropology. There's so many other ways. So I think that's what hit me with Jane Goodall and with Roots and Shoots, that inspiration and being the unity, like in the world of Anthropocene, and we are not better than animals, or like no one is better than any other. We are all dependent and we're all interconnected to each other. And when you see this, when you observe nature, when you work with animals, when you work with plants, and when you see their strategies and when you adapt those, that also helps with everything, like even with your literature review, like the way you look at the resources, the way you write your or like just one thought, like one very example, that like when I maybe like 15 years ago, when I was writing my first master's degree, I would refer animals or plants as it, but today I refer it as she. So like even those small things, when you work with nature or with an NGO you work, you feel close to, your way of approach, the way of your writing, the way of you asking questions are changing. For me, that was Roots and Shoots. It doesn't have to be Roots and Shoots, but I think it's very important to find an alignment between academy, the research, and an NGO or something that you're curious or passionate about, and see how can they support each other.
And exploring more these view of the future and the future aims we should set ourselves. What career opportunities do you see emerging in this field of nature, Anthropocene, and human-nature relationships?
I think there is like right now, I would say the world is waking up, because especially due to the climate crisis, there has been a lot of researches, and not only the NGOs or academicians are aware, now big companies are aware, big like the millionaires are aware. So there is a big thing coming out, but the only like the climate crisis is not the only problem. We have biodiversity crisis and water crisis and all other crises. So people, I think, now see how much impact we have individually and as it's total. Like this is not an, of course, all of us have a role to play, but also it is really important that we all play our role together. So this is not only individually, it's like, it's really important to think accordingly. So I have a feeling, and I observe with the youth we have been working on, they have been thinking like, even if you're an architect, how can I support this cause? And not they are only thinking, their universities and some research, a lot of research are supporting this cause, like having green cities or green sustainable architecture and etc. So I would see there's a lot of new research opportunities coming, because finally the world sees these are interconnected, and we cannot wait just biologists to solve this problem. So now that all the disciplines are aware of this, all this crisis, there has been a lot of new research opportunities, and there's a lot of new disciplines or new schools working on. There's a lot of new subjects coming out. So I think this is a really, really good thing. It also gives the flexibility to young researchers to focus on what they want. So I think this worst case scenarios about what's happening in our world also created a space for young people to pursue their career in a different way. So I'm just hoping that these chances will not only limit in the Western world, but also will apply to Middle East or Africa or underprivileged countries, because the new areas and new departments are emerging in a lot of Western universities, but it's also still hard for some levels. But I think I think there is a good opportunity, and I'm happy to see young people are also very interested in this new upcoming fields.
Seems very good advice. I understand that obviously get involved is fundamental, but also focus. If correct me if I understand wrong. Focus on the probably problems or subjects when you can add something to this problem or these subjects. Seems to me that, and this will be my next question. It's a good advice that you can give to young researchers that just starting their careers in this field. Probably is focus on problems that you can have. It's one of your biggest advices.
I don't know, I don't know if I'm on the right place to give an advice. I can only say what worked for me is that to follow my passion.
It's a good advice.
Yeah,
because it worked clearly.
Yeah, following my passion because and maybe the one thing that worked for me and has been still working for me is asking questions. I'm not afraid to ask questions. I got punished a lot, especially throughout high school and middle school. But I think the only way we move forward is to have our curiosity. So keeping that curiosity alive, keeping that passion alive, and find something meaningful for you. Not only sake of the academy, but for you, for your community, for your family. I don't know, whatever just excites you. That has what supported me so far. I mean, I have been very lucky. I had an opportunity to study what I wanted, and I'm still working on what excites me the most. But if I could humbly give one advice, I would say that go after what gets you excited. Because waking up next morning knowing that I'm gonna work with chimpanzees is so exciting, or the research that we have been conducting may support the welfare of captive chimpanzees. It's so exciting for me. So I would say that that question, that one particular question, maybe when you're in high school, which may end up being your PhD or postdoc thesis question, just finding that. And then the second one, just ask questions. And to everyone, because people will, and they tell us you're just a child or you're just a woman, know your space, know your limits. You're just a student. You cannot ask a question to a politician. No, I have right to ask question. So just keep that. And sometimes I get frustrated when I get the answer no, but just learn that we will get a lot of no's, but at the end of it, there's going to be one yes that will change our life. So curiosity, passion, I think the only advice I would, if I can go back again, I would tell those to myself. So I can humbly tell that to other people.
Yes, actually, this step of being able to ask questions and collaborate with other people is going to introduce my next and last question, which is, what do you think is the role of both young and senior researchers together in shaping policies and practice in nature, Anthropocene, and human-nature relationships?
This is a really good question because sometimes we do a lot of ageism. The academy is still a very male dominant world, over 60 plus white men, and they have been deciding the roles, they have been shaping. I'm not underestimating what they have done, of course, but today, I think as of today, what is really important is we have to sit all of us together on the table in the field of, if we want to do something, if we want to change something, we need different minds, we need different questions, we need different solutions. And I think university is the best way to do that, because you have all this different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different subjects, different ages. Everybody has their own story and everybody has their own knowledge about it. So it is crucial. It is maybe the most important thing is to work together in every aspect. Every researcher, every university member, every NGO, every politician, we all have to work together. Doesn't matter what age we are. There is so much to learn from each other. I think one of the biggest problems we're having is that the more you get older, yes, you have more, you may have a lot of experience, but this doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot learn anymore. And then there is this young people, like they have a new way of thinking. They have new solutions. They are braver than we are. I mean, like I used to, I went to Grand Canyon to skydive. I was 20 years old. And as of today, if they give me millions, I would not do skydive because I'm scared. I'm not as brave as anymore. But I know there are so many people who are brave. So it is really important to see, find a middle ground, senior researchers and new researchers, and somewhere in between. How can we work? What's in my bag? What can I bring to the table? And which responsibilities can I take? And how can we support each other? This is the only way to come out of this crisis, not only the biodiversity or a climate crisis, but every crisis. Because one other thing that this crisis will affect everyone, but particularly young people, children, people with accessibility needs, and women. And these people have to be on the table, on the research, on the university, on advocacy levels, whatever they are. So it is really important that universities start working, like the senior people especially, start working together with everyone in every level of university, and all researchers must work together. This is responsibility for everyone, not only lawyers or natural scientists, or this is the responsibility of everyone, and we need all disciplines together. Like if you go back and think about like how did we become more aware of the climate crisis, you would see Greta. Like she started this moment, and then like she was a student. She started doing school strikes every Friday, and then the movement started, and then people became more aware. This global movement became bigger and bigger. People joined it, and then different disciplines joined it. And so I think it needs a spark. And I would say there are a lot of sparks, but this movement also like brings a lot of disciplines together, bring a lot of different age people together. So I think the middle ground is already there. It's just a matter of like moving forward, because shaping policy, unfortunately, this is very, very sad, because like if you consider a lot of countries, like the shaping policy is very hard and only limited due to the couple of politicians. So I would say like just like maybe being more courageous, and like there's already so many resources out there, already so many young people, youth, so many different disciplines as of today. Every like pretty much every workspace out there, sustainability department, every university have their sustainability departments, and there are a lot of scientists working on this, and a lot of young people trying to move forward with an advocacy on this. So probably I would say somebody has to take the initiative and invite all these people. Like even in the small communities, even one university asked the question, how are we going to support the advocacy on human rights? How are we going to support the advocacy on nature's rights? If everyone starts asking these questions and involve everyone around them, I think we will find the middle ground. Like I said, it's there. It's only for us to act on it. And it's still not too late to work on it. But I would just say that we have to hurry a bit, because things are not, unfortunately, getting better. It's only getting worse, especially considering all these political and economic situations around the world. Like I said, everything is connected to each other. And if one thing goes down, the other one's going down. So I would say, like, as the researchers, maybe we can ask broader questions and take the initiative to move forward and act together.
Thank you very much. Again, very, very deep insights that make us focus or make us think in the future. So this led us to our conclusion of our today episode. A big thank you to our inviter today, Aslıhan Niksarlı, I hope I said it right, for sharing these valuable insights. And thank you to our listeners for tuning into the SHiFT YRC podcast. We hope you are leaving with new insights, inspiration, and maybe even a spark for your next project. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share with your network, and keep an eye for more episodes that we're gonna bring us in the future. Stay curious, stay connected, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was a new thing for me. I really enjoyed it.